Hey guys, Rebecca here with another video from Vibe Mentor, helping you raise your vibration so that you can live your best life. Today I'm going to talk about overcoming addiction and sustaining recovery. My dogs are here playing. Unfortunately, I can't get them to calm down, so just gonna bear with me here. I also have my kids at home, so any noises that you hear, it's just added fun. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you about alcohol addiction. Over the course of my life, I certainly have overcome a few different addictions of my own. Addictions can range anywhere from repetitive thoughts to habitual emotions to sugar, all the way to some of the most toxic substances. So overcoming addiction can be very challenging, and I want to always bring to you any tips and tricks that I've discovered throughout my life. Sometimes a Google search is not enough, so hopefully this will be of benefit to you. So as it relates to alcohol, looking back when I first tried it in high school, I really wasn't keen on it. I didn't care for it. I didn't like the feeling of being out of control, and I didn't even like the taste. I was actually happy to be the sober driver so that when we cruised around, everybody else could drink in the car and I would just stay sober. What I find interesting was, that was at 16 years old, and even all the way through 21, 24, I really didn't care for it very much. I'd have a little here and there, but it just wasn't something that did anything for me. What's interesting though is smoking and other things were more attractive when I was younger, and when I look back at why I formed an addiction, whether it was a habitual thought or emotional process or smoking or alcohol, it was really driven by a lack, some sort of hole in my life that was needing to be filled. And a lot of our challenges in life come from unmet needs and negative core beliefs, and that you'll find is pretty much a theme throughout all of my videos, because they really are the foundation for everything that our life is built on. So when I look back at what my missing core needs were, it's best to start with what are the general core needs. So the most commonly known is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I'm just going to check my notes here. That dog you just saw there, his name is Tater Tot. The kids named him. I had to share that because I just love his name so much. He's a cutie pie. He's a 7-month-old puppy, so it's high energy. So anyways, Maslow's hierarchies of needs. Food, water, warmth, shelter, and rest. That's your foundation. You absolutely have to have those things to survive. Really, as you look at the pyramid, all of these things are necessary to survive. Unfortunately, we've only viewed that bottom tier as all that is necessary, but really if we don't have all of the buckets filled, you're going to be missing something, and therefore look for unresourceful ways to meet that need. So the next tier is safety and security, intimacy and relationships and friendships, accomplishment, and then self-actualization, achieving potential, and using your creativity. So I was really happy to see that Maslow's hierarchy of needs has actually added self-actualization as the top piece of the pyramid in the recent years, and I was excited to see that, because I'm sure, as you all know, that when we're not living up to our fullest potential, we're not maximizing all that we can be. There's kind of that ache in your soul, and it's what I spoke about in the Dark Night of the Soul video, where it leads to this soul depression, where we're not maximizing our potential, we're not using our creativity to be who we were designed to be. That will leave a gaping hole. So I bring to you the pyramid of needs so that you can look, if you are struggling with addiction, look at what core needs are you missing. Usually there's a gap somewhere, and that's where we use these unresourceful methods to try to meet that need. Another person that I absolutely love to reference is Tony Robbins. I have my coaching certification through the Robbins Madonnas organization, and he is fantastic. Highly recommend. Tons of free videos on YouTube, so follow him. But the 6 core needs that he references are certainty and variety, significance, love and connection as one, contribution, and growth. So again, look at that 6 buckets, those 6 buckets, and see which are you missing. And you'll start to piece together what hole you were trying to fill, and that will give you insight on how to fill it resourcefully in a positive way that feeds your soul, feeds your body, and unifies the mind, body, and soul so that you can be whole and complete and at peace. The little pie chart that I love to use with my kids is food, water, exercise, sun, socialization, family, love, encouragement, accomplishment, and contribution. So very similar, but I throw in a couple of other pieces because getting some sun, getting some exercise, getting outside is very important. That's not necessarily in those other buckets. So choose your own. Look at what's important to you, understand all of the different aspects of your life that you need, and question whether or not your cup is full in those areas. Are you getting enough variety and entertainment and excitement in your life? Are you getting enough connection and love? Are you getting enough encouragement? Seek out those things that you're missing and understand that that is going to be the first step in overcoming the addiction. So another thing is to realize that having healthy boundaries is critical. Understanding your core needs, understanding your core beliefs, and having boundaries around what you value and what those positive core beliefs are is really critically important. And we joke when we hear the term gateway drug because it's kind of made fun of, especially when I was growing up. But it's true, because if you know in your heart of hearts that smoking is bad for you, but you start smoking, you have defied a boundary. You have crossed a boundary, a personal boundary, a boundary that's supposed to keep you safe and supposed to demonstrate self-love. So when you go out and start smoking, you have sent a message that says my boundaries are penetrable, that they are not worth upholding. And so that does kind of become a gateway drug, because once you allow smoking, then you allow more than 2 drinks, or you'll allow all the other things that are harming you, whether it's a negative thought pattern, it's repetitive, extreme negative emotion, whether it's nail biting, overeating, bad relationships, procrastination. All those things that require a little bit of self-discipline are so much easier to uphold when you have strong boundaries, when you have firm boundaries that are not crossed. Once you start crossing them, where's the end? Which one are you going to uphold? Which one are you going to not? It kind of becomes like, well, if I'm going to have this cigarette, I may as well have 3 or 4 drinks instead of just one. And so you start to lose strength in that loss of boundaries. Another point to recognize is that pain perpetuates itself. So for me, the reason I would have a drink was to calm down after work, or to relieve stress, or at least so I thought. I had a really hard day at work and I just need to decompress. That was always what I would tell myself. And what you don't realize is that drinking actually inhibits your ability to cope. Your body is stressed, obviously. It's a toxin, it's a poison. So your adrenals become stressed, your nervous system becomes stressed. Literally all of your body's abilities to cope and function are strained and stressed. So instead of relieving the stress or decompressing, you've actually made it worse. So the pain is perpetuating itself. And then what happens as it becomes more of a habit or more of a consistent thing in your life is you end up with cravings, and then you think what you're relieving is the stress or decompressing, but really you're just relieving a craving. And so then it becomes this vicious cycle that it's very difficult to get out of. So alcohol actually creates anxiety and creates depression. It's fascinating when I found this out, because I heard one guy recently say that when he drinks, he feels invincible. And there is a release of positive emotions when you first start drinking. In fact, there's a surge that you wouldn't normally experience. The downfall to that is you are now at a deficit. You will not ever create throughout that period of drinking that amount of positive hormones again. It's only when you first start. And you are now at a deficit for the entire time that you're drinking and as many hours as you drink after that, if that makes sense. So if you drank for 3 hours, you are now in a deficit for those 3 hours plus another 3 hours. And if you're consuming more than one an hour, you're looking at multiple hours afterwards. So in the case of binge drinking, you may be looking at days before you can start to feel better again. So then you're dealing with the lack of happy hormones and also the withdrawal symptoms and any type of cravings that you might have. And so again, the point is it perpetuates itself. It's not helping in any way. And really, what I found, and I have to give credit to the program Alan Carr's Easy Way, is what I found was that the bigger issue was my belief that this was helping me, and not necessarily the physicality or obviously the external experiences that I thought I was relieving. So what we have to understand is that, and I like the way Alan Carr's program puts it, is that we have this little monster, which is the physical cravings or addiction, and then we have the big monster, who is the thought patterns, the beliefs that this is helping us. And that's, for me, the bigger issue. And I didn't even realize it. I thought it was a physical issue. I thought it was a habitual issue. And it was life-changing to take his program and realize that after listening to 4 hours of audio program, I have zero desire, zero cravings, zero temptation. There is no battle going on in my head anymore because we've killed the big monster, and all that was left was the tiny little monster that took a few days to get over the physical craving. So I'm not trying to minimize anyone who has a binge drinking challenge or was drinking more than I was or would struggle more than I was. Certainly you may need medical assistance to overcome the physical hurdles. They don't have to be bad. I would suggest that there is a significant mental component, that your thoughts are creating the chemistry in your body, which is going to at least worsen whatever detox symptoms you go through. Alan Carr's Easy Way program will tell you there is little to no detox symptoms when you use their program. So again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to be able to support that claim. That is not my claim, but that is what they share. So I'm just checking my notes here. Yeah, it does not relieve stress. It creates it. It does not help you wind down. It actually makes you more anxious. It does not make social situations easier. It actually makes you more anxious. While when we were younger or when we first started drinking, that may have been a crutch in the early days, it is no longer a support system. That you will actually find after fully detoxing and getting away from alcohol that social situations are much easier, and that you don't need that crutch anymore. It's again the belief and not the truth of your physicality. It does not make you invincible or cool. It makes you look stupid. How many times have you been sober at a party and watched the people who have had too much? Sometimes, like I said, this guy, he said he felt invincible, and I thought that was pretty funny because he ended up putting himself in a very dangerous situation and almost dying because he thought he was invincible. So really, at the end of the day, you're not cooler, you're not invincible, as much as you may have convinced yourself of that. Unfortunately, that's not a true belief. So yeah, core beliefs and repetitive thoughts are going to be your biggest challenge. And really, the best part of their program is that you don't have to do anything. There's no homework. There's no requirements. They have a few different options. You can read their book. I chose the 154 hours of audio program. They have in-person group sessions, and then they have one-on-one sessions. So choosing whatever you think is going to work for you is obviously going to provide a different experience, but ultimately at the end of the day, it is opening your mind to the possibility that the things you believe about alcohol are not true, and then changing those beliefs. So addressing each belief specifically and then presenting all the facts on why that's not true. And what I personally suspect has happened is a reprogramming of the mind. If you look at commercials and media and marketing and how that works, it's repetition. The number's changing every day, but I believe it's like 17 impressions now are required to get someone to buy. And so it's not the first time they show you the ad or the second or the third, but it is the repetition of the exposure that eventually gets you to pull the trigger. And that is psychological conditioning. And that is what for me, happened through these 4 hours of audio program. It's actually video, but there's no need to see it. You can listen as well, which is what I did. So really, you're just reprogramming the mind to believe what is true about alcohol, which undoes the thought patterns that keeps you stuck. And the beauty of it is, I went to a music festival, I went to a birthday party, I went to all of those occasions where normally you would have a drink, and the thought didn't even come to me that I wish I could. There was no I feel left out or I feel deprived. There was no thoughts of a negative kind in any way. The only thoughts I really did have was of compassion for the people that seemed to maybe be stuck the way I was. And that's not a condescending statement. I don't mean to say that I felt pity for them, but rather I could recognize the look of what it looks like to be stuck. And interestingly enough, when I look around and I see the people who are not drinking, they actually seem happier. They're the ones that are consistently smiling, not just smiling for a friend or smiling because we're playing a game. So I can speak personally and say that there is more joy in sobriety. There's absolutely an unexpected joy of being alcohol-free. And I hope that I can offer that to you through these tips and tricks and hopefully through the Alan Carr's program. So yeah, you'll replace the thoughts with compassion for people who are not drinking. You will have zero envy. You will have excitement for the freedom. It's just like, I get excited now to go places where I might have had a drink because I am reminded that I don't have the desire, and it feels amazing. And there's a new passion for life that did not exist before. So yeah, you'll have an excitement and a passion for your life now that you are free from the monster that would constantly haunt you for, can I have another? Am I monitoring or regulating enough? Or have I had too much? Or when can I have another one? And just those constant thoughts, it's that thought demon that haunts you. There's so much excitement for the freedom that you gain from that. So, and then gratitude for your body, gratitude for, again, the freedom, gratitude for all of the experiences, all of the times you've tried and couldn't succeed. And that's, I think, a really important point that I want to mention too, is that most of the people that I have met are really good people. Most of the people who I've met who have struggled with addiction have really big hearts and are genuine good people who want to do the right thing and are stuck and are trapped. And it's not an indication of who you are or what your value is, that you are still at your core, you are an amazing, beautiful being, you are talented, you are valuable, you are smart, you are needed, and this addiction unfortunately has just gotten in the way. And I want you to know that you are loved, even if I don't know you. And that might sound odd to come from someone who doesn't know you, but you are loved not only by God, but by me and by anyone else who is around you who, even though they may not show it, they do. And this love is always available for you, and it's always around you. And there is a way out. All hope is not lost. And I love to help, so please reach out if you need any help. My email is rebecca@vibementor.com. I will post the links for the Alan Carr's Easy Way, and just reach out if you need help. I am here for you, and so much love. Namaste, friends.